Welcome back. Part 4 video in setting up and solving for proportion ratio, proportion fractions. We have a New York City building with some values that was given in the original Part 1 video. We also had a flagpole with values in that original Part 1 video. This Part 4 video is going to go over, again, how to set up your ratio fractions and set them equal to each other. And then I'm going to get into the two methods in how to solve the ratio proportions when you have a missing value. So again, you could take the New York City building and you could put the height value, which is unknown, that's our variable, over the shadow value, which is 50 feet. Set that equal to the flagpole ratio, where the height is 3 feet over the shadow, which is 2.5 or 2.5 feet. Now notice, for the New York building, for the flagpole, height is on top of the fractions and shadow is on the bottom of the fractions. This is your problem. You're going to be setting this up. Or again, you could set it up this way here, where you have the New York City building shadow values the top part of the fraction, then the height value would be on the bottom. Set equal to the flagpole. Again, since the shadow is on top of the New York building with the flagpole, the shadow value of 2.5 feet would also be on top, and then the height value of the pole, 3 feet, would be on the bottom. It's up to you how you set this up, but notice height and height is on top, shadow and shadow is on the bottom. Or shadow and shadow values are on the top, and then the height and the height values are on the bottom part of the fraction. So you got to set it up that way, and if you do, you're setting it up for success. Let's go ahead and show you what those values look like. Okay, so you can see here for the New York City building, the height we don't know. That was not given, the value was not given in the Part 1 video or the test question. But we do know it's 50 feet in length for the shadow, right? Set that equal to the flagpole, which we know the height was 3 feet, and then the shadow was 2.5 feet. So notice here again, height to height, shadow to shadow, right? Or you could set it up with the New York City building value of the length 50 feet of the shadow on top, and then the unknown height on the bottom. If you do that, then for the flagpole, you need to put the 2.5 feet shadow value on the top, and then the height would go on the bottom. All right, hopefully this is clearing some things up. There are two ways to solve this particular problem. Let's take a look at how to do it. So there are two methods to solve this proportion problem. The first way is to solve using what's called cross product. And if you've seen my videos, you've been following my videos, then you understand that product is the answer to a multiplication problem. So if we're going to have a cross product, what does that mean? What does that mean to you? Okay, so I'm going to use the two proportion ratio fractions where the height of the New York building is X, the shadow is 50 feet. Set that equal to the flagpole, height is 3 feet, the length of the shadow is 2.5 feet. And if you said cross multiply for the cross product question I proposed, you are absolutely correct. And I'll show you how to set this up in a moment, step by step. We're going to cross multiply. 3 times 50, and then 1x times 2.5. Let's take a look and see what that looks like. All right, so you can see here, we're going to cross multiply. Again, I put that invisible 1 in front of that x value, and if you're not familiar with invisible ones, please watch my video. It clarifies so much that's confusing in mathematics. So we have 1x times 2.5 or 2.5. I'm showing you that right here. 1x times 2.5 or 2.5 equals 3 times 50 or 50 times 3. I'm showing you that right here. 50 times 3. Well, what is 2.5 times 1? What's anything times 1? What is 50 times 3? Okay, so if you said 1 times 2.5 is 2.5, you're absolutely correct. Anything times 1 is itself 2.5 in this case. And the 1 is attached to that x through multiplication, so we're going to keep 2.5 attached to x through multiplications. Equals 50 times 3. Well, I know 3 times 5 is 15, and I just bring down that 0. I get 150. So I'm going to continue on. Stick with me. Let's go ahead and finish this problem. There's one step to solve for that x value. All right, so we have 2.5 or 2.5 times x equals 150. I want to get x all by itself. I want to turn that 2.5 into an invisible 1. So what's the opposite of multiplying 2.5 times x, or the inverse? All right. If you said divide by 2.5 or 2.5 to both sides of the equal sign, you are absolutely correct. What's 2.5 over 2.5? It's 1. Anything over itself is 1. Equals 150 divided by 2.5. So x is going to equal 150 divided by 2.5. Now, I want to just share this. Every fraction is a division problem. 150 divided by 2.5. What I'm going to do in this next part 5 video, is I'm going to manually show you how to divide 150 divided by 2.5. A lot of times on these assessments, they do not give you a calculator, or you're not allowed to use a calculator, so you have to learn it manually. Stick with me. Join me in part 5 video where I do manual division, and then I'll show you the second method and how to solve this problem. Is that method easier for you? Well, stick around. Math is easy. Take it step by step. Thank you for joining me. Please like, follow, share, subscribe. Thank you for your time.